Hello, can you hear me? Can you see me? Am I getting terrible dropped out frames again? Hopefully not. It seems to be giving me green ticks this end now and less dropped frame rate. Right, well, message in the chat if it's still bad. Otherwise, hello guys, it's Dave from 3DP and me, and I'm back. Today we're going to be unboxing the long-awaited LDO Millennium Mill version 1.5. I've got some nice boxes here to show you through. This is going to be the start of a build series. I'm going to be doing at least one more stream this week, possibly two, when we start putting this together. But today we're just going to unbox it and see what we got. So let's get stuck in. Yes, I can turn down the music. I turned that up in case you guys got bored while I was running around finding places to connect Ethernet cables. Right, so let's start with the mystery tube. Spindle. So, is that better now? Can you hear me, Ray? So, the LDO kit comes in 3 boxes, or 2 boxes and a tube. Inside the tube is your spindle. As you can see, my tube is empty, but that is because I have already unpacked that because one of the guys needed the part number. But the spindle comes nicely protected in here. I've just put it back in the box. It comes with a whole load of like plastic foam wrapped around the spindle, and then some cardboard blocks on each end to protect the collet and the spindle nose and the connectors on the back. So yeah, I expect to get some tube. And you buy the kit. Right, let's start with the other box first because it's got the spindle in it. Right, unsurprisingly, these boxes are quite heavy. My tube is empty. It is. It's for the best. Lovely branding everywhere. But let's get stuck in. So, ooh. 1 second, chaps. The overhead camera has disconnected during all the fun of fixing all of the other things. Interesting. Okay guys, no overhead camera because it's gone onto a different Wi-Fi network. The whole internet is ruined in this house today. So, inside here, let me tilt it. Start the spindle. So here's the spindle. It is an 80mm diameter 1.5 kilowatt spindle. That's unusual because normally they are the 65mm diameter ones, so you've got some bigger than usual bearings in here, so we should expect to see a nice run out. It is ER16, and this one has come with the 6mm collet pre-installed. It's yeah, feels robust, and a nice big connector on the back. Some of you, if you've been following the feed, will have seen that this version of it probably is not earthed if I take the top off, but LDO are going to be going through every single spindle that they ship out and adding that earth wire in, so you shouldn't have to do it yourself, but during the build series you'll probably see me adding that in as we go along. There is an approximate price for the LDO kit, so it's $1,250-ish. Stay tuned for some announcements later in the week for the UK reseller. There will be a price soon for that, but expect it to be roughly the translation from US to pounds. Yep. Oh, the US kit is about $200 cheaper for the first batch because the spindle and VFD are not included. However, we are sourcing some of them for the later batches, so expect that price to go up to match the full kit. The connector on the top. Yes, so there is. It's a nice big connector. It's a 4 wire, so you've got the extra line for the earth. So that's all in there. Right, so next up, I would guess these are our FMJs. Let's get something to help open them up. So, if anyone will there be a kit for EU? Yes, there will. The EU kit is coming. It will be released. Resellers will be released next week for it. Yeah, stay tuned. It will be there. I don't know the exact distribution of how many kits are going to the US and how many are going to the EU, but I definitely know there will be kits in the UK and probably the rest of Europe as well. Like vendor packs to those resellers went out this week, so they all know the prices that they will be paying for the kits, and consequently they'll be setting the prices for you guys soon enough. Right. I can deal with that pile of stuff later. Okay. Now I don't want to scratch these. I'm going to be nice and careful getting them out, because I guarantee they're going to look nice and pretty, and I want to keep them that way. At least until I cover them in chips. Lots of wrapping. So it's another good thing there. Everything in this box feels well packaged. As you can see, there is ample protective packaging material around everything. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful aluminium anodized parts. Looking at it, it looks pretty much flawless. I can't see any dodgy bits in any of the anodizing there. It looks gorgeous. Fantastic. Now you will probably notice that there are a few extra holes in some of here. LDO has added some extra parts for their wiring lead out. They've gone through the whole manual, the whole parts, the whole build process, and they've identified some areas where they want some extra bits in terms of wiring and guiding those wires neatly to suit their wiring kit. So there's a few extra holes in these parts. Get the second one. And as per the self-sourced ones, they are essentially identical, so there isn't really a left and right. There's just two identical plates. They are the full 120 clearance, so every LDO kit will start at the 120 height. There is no printed 60mm version. Everything comes with these as standard. Ooh. You down over there. Right, next up in this box we have got the bottom plate for the electronics area underneath Milo. Nicely pre-configured with your inlets and your outlets for your fans. Nice. I'm not going to peel off the protective packaging now, but looks fine. Nice touch. I had to sort that out for Jake last time. More packaging material. Right, need to be careful that I don't lose any bits as I do this. Oh, now this I think is probably the part that most people are excited about. As always with the LDO kits, the pre-crimped wiring kits. No more JSTs. Well, still JSTs, but no more having to crimp them yourself. So, in your wiring kit you have the spindle wire. This is a shielded cable, and then you've got your four connections for your UV and W and your earth. They come pre-crimped and nicely labelled, which is a nice touch. We have the Y motor cable. You'll notice that the Y motors that they're supplied have the bigger set of connectors on them. What's this one? Aha! So this is going to be going between your analog out. So this is going to be going between your analog board, control board, 0 to 10 volt one, and the VFD. We just have some e-stop wires. God, working out what all these are is hard work. No, Y-min, pre-soldered to your switch, which is nice. In the normally closed position. Perfect. This will be your power in. They go to the back of the IEC socket. And then you've got your other Z and X and your other end stop cables, and then a few little short wires for inside the electronics area to join all those bits together. Now I know a lot of people during the build had issues with these JST connectors, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you will be excited to know that they all come pre-crimped just like they do in all of the Raw 1 kits. It really speeds up the build when all you've got to do is connect stuff up and not work out wire lengths and so on. Just catching up on the chat, so will be an EU kit? Yes, definitely. Keep an eye out. Resellers coming out this week. Apart from Spindle and VFD for US batches, what's not included in the kit? To be honest, almost everything and more is included in this kit. You are, except for stock material, so buy yourself some aluminium, some plastic, some acrylic, some ABS, whatever. Get yourself some stuff to play on once you're up and running, because that is pretty much the only thing that's not included. And a vise. There's not a vise included in this kit, but work holding is kind of up to you. There's a lot of options out there. At some point I'll do a video on it. Where to go next? Cool. Let's go stepper motors. Another thing that you'll love. Every box is labelled. There's no digging through a box of random misc unlabelled packaging from things you bought all over the place. You know where everything is. And there you got three beefy boy motors with the big sockets on for the higher currents. Yeah. Nice. These are slightly shorter than the ones I've used in my build, but I basically just had the size up. These are more than capable. They're paired so that you don't exceed the control board that comes with the kit. And that's more than enough to get you going, cutting aluminium. Tools, ER16 wrench and stuff. That is a valid point. I don't know about a wrench, we'll find out. But there is a few collets, I believe, in there already. Right, we have a ultra low profile power supply. Lovely. So that'll be your 24 volt. Yeah, 350 24 volt power supply. Tiny. I remember when your only option for 350 volt power, 350 watt power supplies was the big fat ones. Sorry, TV was going to go off. Nice that. Okay. So your VFD. Now this is going to surprise a lot of people. The inverter that comes with these kits is tiny, so this isn't actually new to me. I've been playing with one of these for a while. Down there somewhere. But it is really, really nice compared to the bevel one that I had before. So really small, really compact. You have the 0 to 10 volt options, but then if you're looking to upgrade in the future to maybe go Linux NC or GRB HAL or something that can do RS 485, or if RF starts supporting it, you can control this over RS 485 as well, which is really nice feature because then you can get things like spindle load feedback and all sorts. So it's actually a really good little VFD, and the manual is like top notch compared to the other ones. It's an English manual in full detail, which if you're someone who deals with a lot of data sheets on a day-to-day basis from parts like this, that is goldmine. It makes life so much easier. Hi Jake, good to see you. I managed to sort my my internet issues, but it did involve bypassing the rest of my Wi-Fi system. So we've lost the overhead cam. What about 3D parts? Are they included? No, unfortunately not. You do have to print your own parts, or you can reach out to your local MIF provider and have them arrive in a nice little box for you. So I'll be showing these later. These are presented by Jake. So if you're in the UK or the EU, he is doing printed parts kits at very competitive prices. Right. Okay, so we've got to one of the first bonus parts. Dial indicator. Not in the BOM for Milo, but really handy to have when it comes to setting up your mill and tramming in your biases and so on. Nice little thing. We got given a bunch of these at SMRF at Smurf. So I've already played with it and totally fine for what we're using it for. It's a nice little addition, and it's the first of many that we'll see as we go through the kit. Here we go. Safety first, guys. Try them on. Your next little addition. Some safety specs. Very fashionable. Yeah. If you're not running Milo enclosed and the audio kit doesn't come enclosed, please do think about safety first and do put some safety specs on when you're cutting. You'll be having a very bad day if you get any aluminium chips in your eye, and trust me, they really do get launched a long distance when you're using them. So yeah, LDO's thought about your safety, not just the earthing, but your eyes as well. Right, here's after tools. Let's see what we got. Interesting. So we have some cable ties. I'm not sure I'd call that tools, but various things. We've got your bearings, lead screw nuts. It looks like they've also put other things in with the tools, but the tools are here. These are more for assembly than anything else. It doesn't look like there is a collet nut, but there is some really nice heat set insert adapters for your soldering irons. The extra bit here is they've got the big size, so normally if you were dealing with a lot of the LDO kits and stuff before, you only had to worry about M3s, but because we've got some big inserts, they're giving us some big adapters there, which is a really nice touch. So yeah, you really shouldn't need very many of your own tools to build this thing. Maybe just a set of Allen keys and you could be good to go. Right. Yeah, do just remember that when you're looking through. This box labelled tools also has a bunch of your motion parts in case you think they're disappeared. So we get into another one of the bonus parts. No need for safety squints. Yeah, no one trusts the safety squint. So this is another one of the bonus bits. Again, over and above the standard BOM for a Milo 1.5. Have a look here. So we have got an array of different shims. So these are used to get your Z-axis column and your fixture plate dialed right in. So you can shuffle these under when you're adjusting it so that it actually rests on real material rather than just relying on the bolts being cranked down to hold it in that place. It means you'll have a lot better reliability long term after you get those axes trammed in nicely. It's a really nice addition. This is something that we as a design team was kind of shouting for because these are a pain in the arse to source independently. Right, we have some 123 blocks. I now have 6 of these LDO 123 blocks. I tried to give them away, but everyone at the show told me they were flying and they didn't want to carry them through security. So we've taken these away, we've measured them, tested them. They're really good, really precise, very, very close to the measurements that 123 blocks should be. Measured with mitatorial calipers and stuff. This will be really useful for tramming, doing a really rough tram on your spindle initially, and just generally for setting up fixtures and things going forwards. Next up, we've got some more collets. So we have, I have 2 6mm collets. I think that's meant to be a 6mm and a 3mm. We'll have to let Jason know, because that combined with the one in my spindle means I've got 3 6mm collets. Slightly overkill. Yeah, I think this is meant to be a 6mm and a 3mm collet to match the sizes of the end mills. We'll let them know. Are the collets AAA or AA? These particular ones don't say on the top, and I can't read through the packaging. Very shiny. 16.5. Oh, it does say there, but it's too reflective. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I can't actually read what the ratings of them are. But the last set they sent me were totally fine, so I'll get back to you on the ratings. Now we've got 2 precision ground pins, so until you get a touch probe, these are your friend for setting up your work coordinate system. Put them in the collet and just touch off your part, and you have a nice reliable surface to set for your reference points. Useful extra tool that. You're much better using one of these particularly than a single flute end mill, where depending on where it's rotated you won't actually get the correct diameter. We then have the starter set of end mills. We showcased these at Smurf as well. You got a variety, so the one that I particularly liked was the 2 flute chamfer mill, DLC coated, really nice compared to the ones I'd been using before. We then have a variety of 3mm and 6mm single flute end mills, all DLC coated. I've had a go at some of these, and you can push them really hard. Some really nice end mill parts. These. Cool. Yeah, like I said, you just basically need to add stock and some form of work holding, and then you are ready to start machining. So it's really nice that they've thought of all of these little bits, and it's I think that's important when you've got people transitioning from 3D printing world into machining, where a lot of those things are quite daunting, and they've kind of done that little bit to get you started before you have to start worrying about sourcing them yourself. Little electronics box. So in here we've got your stepper drivers. This is the nice little thing. So if you haven't seen this already, LDO are producing this especially for the Millennium Machines Milo. So a lot of you have had to source independent relays and 0 to 10 volt converter boards, but LDO nicely packaged onto this little board here. I do believe the 0 to 10 volt output is actually a lot more linear than a lot of the cheap ones we have been using. That will just give you a nicer range where you get good results. Used to include material hearts of iron. You're not wrong, that would be really cool, but everything that adds to weight adds to the cost that you guys have to pay, and at the end of the day, sorting blocks of aluminium locally is, well, it's easier for you just to do it locally. Saves paying shipping across the world for something that is pretty basic. In here you just got your fans, little terminal, little ferrules, a few Vago. Genuine 221s as well. Nice. So genuine 221 Vago clips. An E-stop. Now I always like to test my E-stops because if they don't have that good clunky feeling, I don't trust them. Satisfying. Nice. And then yeah, it's 2-channel, which is important when you get to the wiring part of the process. Yep. Oh yeah, and then we've got a plug. Nice little touch. I've got a UK plug, seeing as I'm in the UK. Yeah, that's a nice touch. I'm used to the EU plugs arriving and having to put my own on. And they've even provided an SD card. So you are pretty much ready to go. I think it is literally just stock and fixturing. And then I've got the IEC plug. Ooh. I'm excited for this build. It took me so long to build my self-sourced one. I'm really looking forward to everything just being here and not missing a bunch of everything because my ability to self-source was poor. Now this cable channel unfortunately appears to have got a bash in transit. It was just placed on the outside of the package unfortunately and has just broken a few edges, which is a shame, but I think... Yep. I have some spare. So I think I'll be okay. But yeah, we'll point out possibly the location of this in the box could be adjusted a little. Just to help protect it as they are fairly delicate. Right, we have a mellow board, as you all know, the Fly CDY V3. This comes with all the usual JST connectors and so on. Now these will be useful for spares if you're adding anything extra, but you shouldn't actually need them because all of the wires that we looked at earlier are pre-crimped, so it should just be plug and go. The drivers are obviously in the other box that we saw earlier, so they're not in this one in case you wonder when you open it. More packaging. Right. Oh. Yeah, big box of fasteners. So it was the bane of my life. When I did the last stream, I always was running out of either the insert or the T-nuts or something. Something where I'd gone wrong on the sourcing guide or dropped them. Got a nice big pack here. I'm not going to go through each of the individual ones, but they are, if you look inside there, you can see that they are lovely and individually bagged. So what I suggest is if you have got a like a tray organizer thing, is you can separate these all out before you do your build rather than just having them all piled in a single bag. It will just make it a lot smoother as you're working your way through. So that should be awesome. And then we've got our cable chains. They're the ones where you can flick them open as you go along, so you don't need to poke it all the way through from the end. You can just undo the... Yeah. Yes, Ray. I hope there are no more broken taps. Heaven forbid. Although, I think in this pre-production release there is one tapped hole missing, or so I've been told. So there's opportunity there. Can't close the box. How have they done this magic? Whoever packages these things at LDO is a lot better at putting them in boxes than I am. Right. Now this is a nice touch. So these are, I don't know if you can see, but they are like like little covers for the grooves on all the channels on the extrusions. So you're going to put this all over the table, and I don't know if any of you saw in my build back there, but all of these channels here are filled in. And that just means when you come to clean up all those chips, you don't have to dig them out of the channel. It's a nice little quality of life upgrade, these. Right, and then we get onto the Long John toolkit. So this is your tool setter, so this will be really useful because it means once you've set up your work coordinate system for a part you're machining, unless there's a good reason to, you should just be able to stop the tool and then calibrate the length of that new tool that you put in using this, and off you go. You shouldn't have to calibrate off of a new feature every time you change tools in a toolbar. Yeah, it's pretty much like the Sex Bolt from the Boring World. In fact, it's probably the same PCB. Oh no, it is. I forgot. Yeah, so we actually have the optical switch as opposed to the mechanical one in here, which is meant to have a more repeatable trigger point. So just to really dial in getting those length offsets correctly on the end mills. It's been exciting to test these. I was meant to test one, but I actually gave them all away. Smurf. So now I've got that. We'll be having a go with there, and I'll be comparing it against the mechanical version I've got on the mill back there. Yeah, really nice quality of life thing as well. It makes doing the machining ops a lot smoother. Let's load these back in. Just to make room for the next step. I'm excited about having all the cables pre-done. It's going to save hours. Just not scratch anything with these. Cool. Oh, spindle. Okay, on to the next box. I need more room, man. To make space for this, I had to move an entire 3D printer off the side, and all sorts. Oh, that doesn't have my address on it. Oh, good. Well, if it did, it was in Chinese, so probably not my target audience. So this is going to be the bigger parts based on what we've seen so far. So I'm expecting to see some extrusions, primarily, and some rails and some bits like that. I'm just going to drop this whole box off the edge of the desk. Yes, this version will be running RRF. Yep, that is the baseline still. It's just by far the most cost-effective way to get a mill up and running. It's also a bit easier to transition into from the 3D printer world, which is kind of the audience we were targeting with this mill. But then the rest of the hardware has plenty of scope for upgrading to other firmware or whatever in the future if you wanted to. Right, let's see what we got in here. So, what's the packaging? Okay, these feel like Z rails. See what you can see. Oh man, can't believe I lost my overhead cam because of the Wi-Fi issues. Right, we in like a kid at Christmas. Oh man, it's been a good few months for me. This I've unboxed a resin printer and wash and cure station. I've got a whole new beta 3D printer on the go, and I've been getting Milo parts left, right, and centre in preparation for this build. Yep, these look like our Z rails. It's nice that they come with both carriages already on. If you are self-sourcing, I do recommend you try and order them like this because it's a pain in the arse matching carriages, so they'll all come pre-matched. The Fly CDY has Wi-Fi, yep, so no pies needed. It's all standalone. That's one of the reasons why it's so much cheaper. You save sort of 80 quid straight up by not needing a pie. And then the Linux CNC, the board's capable of running Linux CNC or some of the other firmwares, or the Masso controller is about 10 times the price, maybe even 15. Linux CNC, the board alone is more than the Fly plus all the drivers and everything, and then you have to get the external drivers and a Raspberry Pi or a Linux PC to run alongside it, so the costs add up quite quickly. So it's by far the most cost-effective way, and honestly you will not be able to self-source a Milo for the same price as these kits at the moment. Trust me, mine came out at a lot more money. Cool. So we have stainless rails here, which is really nice touch, particularly for me in this garage situation where it's not the driest of environments. That really help. I've got some big plans with Casa where I'm going to add a single big connector in there, and then that big connector's can have some extra live neutral and earth connections, so it can plug straight into the back of the LDO Milo, so it can still run completely stock, but so I can still run my Linux CNC setup inside the same enclosure. I'm feeling extra swanky. I might try and find a way to link up the external e-stop. But I want to stick with this build. I want to make it pure bomb as much as I can. So basically the power cable is the only part I plan to change, just to make that work inside my enclosure without rewiring a bunch of stuff. You could run a genuine Duet hardware too. Yes, of course you can. The only thing to be careful of there is space. If you're planning on putting the electronics in the electronics area, so underneath here on your build, then just be wary of space. It's quite tight down there. It is really nice actually. These are stainless steel. Again, kind of blowing my mind that you're getting stainless rails in the price of this kit. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Lead screws included. Interesting. I think they may be packaged inside an extrusion, which I've actually seen being done a few times recently, which is quite nifty. It's a really good way to protect them actually, because the extrusion gives it the strength just to protect that lead screw in transit so they don't get bent. And the last thing we need is bent lead screws, so that's a really nice touch. There's just two of your 20 by 40 extrusions. So, then, no, take them out because there's some more in here. Right, so all of these extrusions are black anodized. I think they're only doing the single colour at the moment. Certainly the first round of kits is only one colour. So it's a bit of classic Henry Ford. You can have any colour you want as long as it's black. Yeah, that is the ones. And you can see, I'm not going to unpack all of these extrusions right now because I'll just have to have them lying around, but you can see here they are, I don't know if you can, but they are pre-tapped. Just the right holes, the ones that you need tapped, not every single hole, which is quite nice because it avoids some confusion. And the threads look nice and clean. They also look like they were anodized after they were tapped, which aesthetically is nice, but it doesn't really make a difference. Do I plan on adding coolant drip tray plan to my personal classroom enclosure? I do. I am working with a chap in Sheffield. That's where I live. It's as much information as you're getting. I'm working with a chap in Sheffield who works in a factory where they do a lot of bent sheet metal work. I'm just waiting for him to get the right size offcut of a bit of like stainless material. I plan on doing a little tray. My ideal situation at the moment is something that the whole of Casa sits in. And it has a small lip up to about just above this, just above the extrusion channel. That way anything that gets on the walls will drip and stay inside the drip tray. It will mean drilling a hole underneath so that there's somewhere for that to go afterwards. Because I really want to go flood coolant. I don't just want to go mist coolant. I want to go all out, but time and money are the limiting factors at the moment. Now, interestingly, LDO has said they plan to support a Casa build in the future. But what that will look like, we don't know yet. I would guess that you will not get panels with it. I'd guess it's just the extrusions. There would be some awfully big panels to ship across the world. Possibly local resellers will do the panels for you. Right, where are we? So, yeah, I know what this is. So this will be another one of those nice extras. Honestly, people who get this LDO kit are going to be so spoiled for all the parts we've all had to set up group buys and stuff to source. And actually, when I was talking about work holding, this little bad boy is going to really help you get started there, because all you need is a few bolts and some cheap clamps and you'll be off. Where are we? Now, it's going to be fun to see because I've not seen the production version of this yet. I saw 2 pre-production ones. I think they reduced some of the coating that I had on one of the others because it was too expensive, but this would be pretty nice too. Oh yes, look at that. And the main thing here, pre-tapped. Oh, 100 and whatever holes. Gorgeous. Where's this? So I do have an LDO plate on there. Mine was black anodized. This one is not. It's just hard silver anodized, I believe. Sorry, I really want to get into this and see, because the cost of having this tap, the amount of time it will save versus buying one that's not tapped already, it's literally out of this world. Spend the whole day just doing those tapped holes. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, look at that shine. Oh man, I wonder how long it will stay shiny once you start bolting stuff down and using it, but it was really nice. Whoa. Lovely, lovely chamfered edge as well. No sharp bits. Yeah. And it's thick. Look at that. Thicker than one I've got. It just feels thicker. But yeah, look at it. Beautiful. Now this is one of those really nice upgrades. So the price that the LDO kit is coming out at, we, as like the dev team and the people with early serial numbers, they would have struggled to build the mill without all of these accessories for that price. LDO's managed to package in some of these bits which we'd be paying over 100 quid each for. For the FMJ plates and stuff, easily a few hundred extra on top of just that base bomb. That's, yeah. We're impressed. We are, as a design team, we are very, very impressed with the cost that LDO is managing to offer these kits at. Uh-oh. Cool. Okay, frame kit. I expect to just see a bunch of extrusions in here now because we have had all the rails and we have had almost all the lead screws. Not sure where my Z lead screw is hiding. Yeah, we just got some of the nice C channels here. Yep, some more C channels. What size are the FMJ plates? The 120mm clearance. So what that means is from the bottom of this bit here to the bed, you get 120mm. Basically a room you can use for machining. They are obviously a lot taller than 120mm, but it's essentially it's kind of the height from there to where the bed sits. Let's just get one of these extrusions all the way out to have a look at it and just check the quality. Cool. So, again, the anodization is lovely on the outside. There are no burrs or anything on the cuts, and aesthetically, again, it's been anodized after cutting, which is you can see it's so black, super dark. Where can you buy in the UK? The reseller for the UK will be announced this week. Stay tuned. No spoilers. Yeah, they look really good. Each of the threaded holes also had a small deburr, a tiny little countersink or deburr put on the edge of it, just to make sure that the threads go in nicely. Yeah. Well, let's test straightness on their fixed plate. Okay. Yeah. Both of them look pretty straight to me. No light coming through under that. That or they're both identically bent, but I think they're probably straight, based on my experience with the other fixture plates they've sent us. Awesome. Right, one box to go. Retail. Where can I buy it? Sorry, Carl, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. There will be UK resellers selling to, as retail, so you'll be able to just go on and buy one kit from the UK. And they will be announced within the week. Is it possible to run Linux CNC with this kit? Not yet, but stay tuned. Once I've built this thing, I need to test it and I need to run it stock for a little while, and then I'm going to start tinkering, because we all know I'm the Linux CNC advocate within the team. I love it. I personally prefer it, though it does come at a cost, and we're fully aware of that. It should be possible with some work to get Linux CNC running via the Remora firmware on the Fly CDY. I actually had a spare board somewhere down there that I planned to do that on, but just time has got away from me and I've not done that yet. In theory, yes, but watch this space, because in fact, I can guarantee it won't be the easiest way to run Linux CNC on a Milo. It's kind of one of those things that if you're going to that effort, you probably want to put it in an enclosure. You want to put some fat drivers in there. You want to upgrade a bunch of the other bits as well and just fully commit rather than going halfway. But I'm hoping to enable the halfway stepping point when I get some time. Right, so we just got some little right angle connectors. The main thing to check with these, when I've bought these before from cheap suppliers, is that none of them are quite the same. So we're just going to put two of them next to each other and see how they come out. In terms of when the kits are going to be available for the UK, so resellers and everyone are going to start advertising the kits soon for pre-orders. It's about 40 days until they're shipped. They're going to be shipped across the world by sea, etc. So it's about 40 days until kits land in the EU, the UK and the US. Okay, so two of them side by side, they're looking near enough identical, which is nice. Again, consistent anodization, much cleaner than the cheapo ones I bought off AliExpress previously. The cheaper ones worked, but this will just mean less faffing getting them lined up nicely. Oh, don't want to lose that. Right, so just a few bits left in here. My plan is to start a build stream on Tuesday, so keep an eye out. It's probably going to be a long one. I want to get it built in a week and see if that's possible. I know it took me about 4 months to build my self-sourced one, so yeah. In comparison, that's going to be absolutely insane if I manage that. And I honestly have less time now than I did then, so we will find out. Yeah, it's just some more extrusions. This is the little short stubby one that's part of the Z assembly. Not going to take all of these packaging off. Okay, there's our other lead screws. Just trying to escape. Just watch out for those. They're packaged inside your extrusions. To be fair, they do say, the ones that have the lead screws on do have a sticker warning you. But it should be obvious from the lead screw sounding raffle that's going on. Right, let's get one of these out and just see how straight my lead screws are, because that is always important, and they've gone to the effort to package them inside here. Let's find out. Again, I'm just going to use that fixture plate as a testing point. Oh, very nice. Do printed parts include the electronics table? These bits, so yes, when you buy them from Jake, he includes those parts in it. You can build Milo without this table if you really wanted to, but it doesn't save you much cost, and aesthetically it's a lot nicer. It gives you a much wider base to actually attach Milo down to any real structures as well. Yes, that lead screw is lovely and straight. Pop that back in there for safety. We got a few more extrusions, and then, oh yeah, now we're talking. Little baby one. Aluminium X, Y and Z plates from the off. Again, starting with the printed one and having to go back and upgrade is a huge pain in the arse. Look at that, there's Jake, the man himself. Yep, so I'll be showing you the printed parts in a minute. That you'll get if you order from Jake. He's happy to support people from UK and EU. I think US, you're probably better asking someone else because the shipping will cost you a whole bunch, but you never know. We have had some good conversations with some of the 4-1 PIF providers who are on board with making some sets. So do post in the PIF channel if you need those. They are some big ABS parts. So yeah, here we go. We have this will be the XY plate. Yeah, so many holes. Really nice though. Again, just checking how flat it is relative to the other plates that we've got. And yes, no rock at all. It's going to be nice. My self-machined ones of these were not great. I did them early on in the process, and they're I lost some steps, and I ended up with my holes all nicely aligned, but the outside perimeter is slightly off from the holes. Mechanically it doesn't affect it, but visually it annoys me every time I look at it. So I should probably go back and upgrade those, but yeah, these are really nice anodized. Yeah, nice. Cool, looking forward to using that in the build. Can I check the surface flatness of that plate? I can, but just for you, Ray, I'm going to dig out my granite plate. Give me a minute. Need to make space. Oh. Look how filthy that is. Everything in my workshop is disgusting at the moment because the builders who did my kitchen mixed all of the tile grout in here, and everything is coated in dust. Let me just wipe this down before I put this lovely LDO plate anywhere near it. Disgusting. Yeah, it took me a long time to set up for today with dusting and cleaning. And then all that setup on my internet went anyway, and I had to rejig a bunch of things. Right, okay. The back is filthy as well. Okay, you guys probably aren't going to be able to see this very well, but it's too heavy for me to hold up and show you nicely. And I don't want to drop it on top of all of these nice parts that have just been sent. So you're obviously interested in it being flat, this face and this face parallel, yeah? So there it is. Absolutely zero daylight underneath this thing. No wobble when I press on any of the corners. The edges don't actually matter, but nothing there either wobble wise. Yeah, no. Spot on. As far as I can tell, this isn't a high grade calibrated plate, but it's done me good in all previous testings for flatness, and that's looking lovely. Let's check the Z plate as well, because I know you had a lot of issues with this, didn't you, Ray, with your that supplier that made them for you. So the Z plate, bit chunkier, bit thicker, but again exactly the same. Beautiful anodization all over. Nicely countersunk on the back. There's a tiny little dent here if we're being really like anal about the quality control, but it is very, very minor. It's really, really nice. And just for Ray, I'll check this again. And again, that's feeling, there's no physical wobble if I press on the different corners, and I can't see anything under there. That's really good. As far as I can tell, that's also lovely and flat, Ray. So you should be in a good time. Bits like these, I think, initially won't be available separately. But I imagine once kits are out there and they're not sold out from the first batches, you'll be able to get your hands on some of these extras. It's really nice. Cool. So I'm going to pop the rest of these bits back in their boxes, and then I'm going to get Jake's printed parts out. Yeah, so in theory though, Ray, you should, if you're using aluminium tooling plate, you should actually have it flat enough without flattening the faces. I would guess they didn't use a decent bit of tooling plate when they started, because mine I did using that and didn't flatten the faces at all, and they came out fine. Just get a bit more. Check for these plates since they're so nice. Cool. I can't remember which box these things came out of now. No. It's down there, isn't it? Yeah, I remember seeing your pictures. Yours were definitely bowed. There's no doubt about that. I think they just used bad stock in the first place. The aluminium tooling plate shouldn't be like that by default, and those parts have not had enough enough material removed to blow up like that from residual stress in the plate. And tooling plate should come, if you get the right grade, it should come pre-stress relieved, so you shouldn't really get any burn even when you do that. It's kind of the whole point of tooling plate. Cool. Just box these stuff back up and then get the printed parts out. Yeah, I'm really excited to get building. It's going to be a bit of a race to see who wins, me or Jake, in building it first. I suspect he'll probably beat me, but it depends on his shift patterns, so we'll see. Also, I've been making him do extra work in the evenings. For a nice surprise for you guys. Some of these bits. Oh, I'm going to have some clear up to do after this. All that packaging. I had bad luck building Ben F and J. Oh man, I know you did. That's the thing with self-sourcing though, isn't it? You have to deal with all these problems yourself. You can't get away with just... well yeah, it just doesn't get sorted for you, does it? Right. Just going to have a quick check on all these messages on Discord. Okay, nothing too important. Right. Okay, so a few of you were asking about printed parts. Have I tried? Cool. Yeah, a few of you are asking about printed parts. So these are big ABS parts. They can be challenging, and we know that. And that is why Jake is doing, he is currently our main provider of parts in the UK and EU, and I've got a set of his parts here. I didn't currently have a big enough enclosed printer to do that right now. They've been stripped down and I'm building a new beta machine over there. It's got a little top secret cover on it. So I will have the capability again soon, but for now, Jake's my man, so you're going to get to see what the parts look like coming from him. So, dig into those. Just going to have a quick drink because I don't talk this much ever. Have we ever tried thread milling? I did. Do I have the part? I do. Always getting distracted, but I really enjoyed thread milling, so I'll dig it out. There's that little box of demo parts that we took to Sonara. So I've got a video on YouTube. If one of the guys is feeling energetic, they can find it and share the link. But I did end up going back and doing one of these and putting the threads in using thread milling. This isn't the one that's in the video, mostly because I cocked up the end, so I couldn't be bothered to do the video editing to show it. But yeah, so it's possible. I did it with a M5 thread mill. I need to order some smaller ones. But yeah, totally possible. I had to do 2 passes to get nice threads, and what you need to do is you counterbore the top first, just a little bit, put a little chamfer around the edge. I used a chamfer mill and contoured it. And then you do the thread milling, and I did 2 passes because that seemed to be what worked for me. Yeah, and I was able to just thread the screw straight in. So it takes a while to understand how to plan those tool paths. And it takes a while to get the settings quite right, but it is definitely doable. You will not be rigid tapping on Milo, but thread milling is definitely achievable in aluminium. I don't think anyone's tried it in harder materials yet. Right. Printed parts. Let's get rid of this plate. It's not needed. So there is only, I think, 2 or 3 bespoke printed parts for the LDO Milo. They're mostly to do with wire routing or for holding the extra little boards in the electronics. when the kits go out, there'll be links to those parts, but they're nothing too exciting. So you can end up with all your standard printed parts. We still have the usual sacrificial layer to deal with the overhanging counterbores. We'll just go through them so you can see here that the printed kit comes with all of the bits for all the axis. And Jake managed to knock these out in like 2 days, so you know he's got his stuff sorted out. Some nice bits, all done in ABS. The idea. It has included the little brackets. I didn't end up installing these when I installed my FMJ, but just because they're hidden anyway by the plate. But we'll see. When I get to the build, I'll probably put them in just for consistency's sake. Your little bits of electronic guides, little wire channels. More bits that we've seen already. That's a little cover for your wire channels. More skirts. Okay, so these spindle mounts, these are the bits that you're going to struggle with. These are the hardest parts to print. Really big, really flat surface to deal with. Yeah. Very minimal warping on these bits. Really nice. So the main thing with these, if you're printing them yourself, is this section here between the 4 bolts. Those are the bits that need to be yeah, you go. The man would normally post-process these parts a bit further, but that's fine. Like that, Jake. So when he comes to you, your bits won't come with these mouse ears on. They're there just to hold the corners down. But I needed them quick because I'm impatient and gave him no warning. But yeah, cool. So the bit that is important if you bring this yourself is between these 4 bolts. That's where it really needs to be flat. If it curls up a little bit in the corners, you can probably get away with it. Especially if you're planning on upgrading to parts of iron. Ooh, what is the ratio to epoxy to granite sand? So that is a question for Jake. I have not epoxied any of my builds yet. Mostly because I'm at high risk going to take them apart again, and when I do it, I kind of want to do it completely sealed in. I've gone for the Stealth Milo, which is sort of my signature. So all black with just the steel rails, but normally this would be a highlighted colour. Really nice, big prints. Cool. It's going to be good. I haven't rebuilt it since the newer versions of these motor mounts came out. Right. Let's have a look at what skirt kit I've got. I'll be back for the socket for the switch. Another back. Another back. And then the E stuff, cool. So I've just got the standard front bits. Very nice. Got that E stop in there. Yeah, really happy with these parts. Feel nice and strong. Right. So we got, okay, these are the other 9 parts to print actually. So your 2 sides of your x-axis. Again, the quality of Jake's prints, the fact he's printing these huge ABS parts without any warpage is really, really impressive. So heads up to him. So, you know, if you need it, reach out. I'm sure he will share his filament settings and stuff. I think this was printed on your Quiddy printer. Is that right, Jake? Or is it a mix of this and your Trident? Oh, nice. Yeah. I was going to check before I started the build, but I actually had the little rail carriages. I did have the little rail carriages to put those rails on, because I didn't have these last time, and that was why I got stuck on the build for quite a while, following Ray's method. So yeah, I'll be knocking some of these out. Yep. Does your standard set also come with the ballast box, Jake? Because I've got it here. And then you've got some of the electronics bracketry for inside. Right. Cool, guys. I think that's everything. Stay tuned. We'll be doing starting the build series on Tuesday. Look forward to seeing you there. I'm going to try and smash it through. It's going to be some long streams, I think. Hopefully I'll do a lot of the prep work on Monday. Heat set inserts and things like that ahead of time. But until then, I guess if anyone's got any questions, we can do some of them now. But otherwise, you can probably call it a day. So just give a few minutes for questions. Seems pretty quiet. Cool. Right. Thank you, guys. Stay tuned. Sorry about the IT issues at the start, but hoping to get stuck into it. See you next time.